One of the factors in great communication is timing. And so in today's Connection Quickie, I'm going to teach you one of the most important concepts I've ever discovered for communicating in a really effective, great way. And that is what I call delayed reaction versus delayed response. So here's the deal. A lot of times, let's say your partner comes home in a bad mood, and you've been listening to me and all my fabulous Connection Quickies, and you think, oh, I'm not going to talk to them right now because they're in a bad mood. This is not the time to ask why they're in a bad mood or to get into something. So I'm going to wait and do it later. But there's an important piece to this. So that would be that you're going to delay, right, when you're going to have this talk with them. But are you going to have a delayed reaction or a delayed response? And you want to have a delayed response. And this means that you're really, you're using the time in between when you actually, the thing happened, them coming home in a bad mood, and when you talk to them, that you're using that time to really think to yourself, to calm yourself, and not to be up in, why are they always in a bad mood when they come home? This isn't fair. I'm not the one that pissed them off, and I get all the bad stuff. None of that is going to help you, because if you do that, if that's your thinking, by the time you talk to them, you're still going to be pissed. And you're going to come at them, you'll probably attack them, or worse, you might sort of let that go. Let that go. You're not really letting it go. You might have thought you let that go and thought, oh, you know what? It's later. I'm not even going to talk to them because this is just crazy. Or maybe they started to get into a good mood as the night went on, and you think to yourself, well, I'm just going to ignore it then. I don't want to rock the boat now. I don't want to say anything now, but boy, I hate that. And what'll happen is, let's say 3 days later, 2 days later, a week later, something will remind you of that. Maybe they'll come home in a bad mood again, or they'll do something else that's a little edgy or, not your fault, and they're kind of reacting to something, whatever. And you'll go off, and suddenly you'll have this big reaction. Now, here's the problem, is that often, so what you've had is a delayed reaction. You didn't take care of that feeling, and so you just had the same reaction you would have had when they first came in the door. You're just having it a week later, a month later, a day later, whatever. And this is a big problem because your partner won't connect what their behavior is to this reaction, and you're going to look crazy. I know you've been there, right? You've been told, what are you yelling at me for? I just blah, blah, blah. Why are you going so crazy? And you're really going so crazy because this is a continuation of something you've already been feeling or thinking or whatever's been happening. It's the equivalent of, and I don't want to compare your partner to a dog, but it's the equivalent of, having a new puppy that pees on the carpet on Monday and you don't do anything, and then on Thursday you hit him on the nose with a rolled up newspaper. Well, the puppy is not going to put together, oh, when I peed on Monday with this negative thing that happened now. And the same thing happens with your partner or anybody you're dealing with. They don't get why you're so upset. And again, you look crazy. So instead, I want you to have a delayed response. So let's say the partner comes home in a bad mood, or your boss walks in the office in a bad mood, or whatever it is. Instead of, churning and burning on it, I want you to actually have a moment of going, whew, okay, that's their stuff, not my stuff. I didn't do this. I didn't create this. And even if there's something they think I did, then, we'll have to get to that later when both of us are more calm. So I'm just going to take this time. I'm going to take a breath. What would be really great is if you could even think of something compassionate and kind about your partner or boss or whoever. You might think, well, they just came home in a lot of traffic, or I think my boss has been under a lot of pressure lately, or whatever. It's not about excusing the behavior. It's about trying to calm yourself around the behavior and having a different reaction to it. And that way, if you do come back to the conversation later, and I hope you do, and say something, it's going to come from that calm, clear place. And hopefully you will be using one of my other tools, which is not to sack your relationship, no suggestions, advice, or criticism. So hopefully you'll be coming back with some questions like, hey, how you doing? How was your day? It was what you might ask your partner later on. And they might go, oh, fine, whatever. And you might then ask another question and say, is there anything I can do for you right now? Is there anything you need? Can I get you something? You might be kind, because if they're in a bad place, maybe what they need is kindness, is what they need is a slowdown. And people are often disarmed by that when they're in a yucky place and you sort of come in and offer comfort, help, support. And really, let's be real, if anyone, your boss, your coworker, your sister, your partner, is coming at you with that negativity or whatever that is, or you're in the space of that negativity, what they're really telling you is that they're struggling, right? They're struggling. And so for our response to be anything less than loving and supportive is a problem. We want to be in that, but you have to get in that headspace first, because we're not all the Dalai Lama or Mother Teresa, right? And I think even they got pissed sometimes. So I don't know, but do you see where I'm going at? So I want you to think in the future of having a delayed response, not a delayed reaction. Make sure you're clear about where your mind is, what you're thinking about, how you're feeling about the situation before you attempt to talk to them again and resolve it or look at it differently or talk about it, okay? That's it for today. I'm Dr. Abby Medcalf. I help people create lasting, epic change in their relationships, even if their partner, boss, friend, mother, or brother won't do one thing.